something just broke in the stock market because three things happened at the exact same time. Number one, we got the news that we got the worst job market report since the pandemic. Number two, we got a new report saying that gas prices jumped up by 11% in just the last few days. That's the biggest jump we have seen in about 2 decades. And then number three, BlackRock is blocking you from pulling your money out from their private credit funds because they are bleeding money. So let me break this down one by one, starting with the job market, because it was expected that the job market was going to grow by 92,000 new jobs. Instead, we got the news that we lost 59,000 jobs. Why? Partially due to tariffs, partially due to artificial intelligence. Now, the reason why this is so interesting is because in the past few years, when we got a bad job market report, it was actually good for the stock market. Why? Because if we got bad news in the economy, like bad jobs, that generally meant that the government and the Federal Reserve Bank would try to stimulate the economy and stimulate the stock market. Well, after we got this very bad job market number where unemployment jumped up, the stock market went down because of everything else that's also happening at the same time, and now investors are getting concerned. Maybe we could be seeing stagflation, maybe we could be seeing a recession, which brings me to number two, what's going on with oil prices. And I do want to mention this, that if you're an investor, you're thinking about your retirement, your 401k, your investments, and you get concerned about all the craziness happening in the economy, this is why on March 18th, I'm hosting a live, free, and virtual investor workshop where I'm going to be going over, number one, how the economy is changing, but then number two, my firm's research as to how these changes actually create investment opportunities for the financially savvy. Because anytime you see craziness happening, whether it's geopolitics, whether it's changes in the Federal Reserve Bank, whether it's changes in government policy, all of these things actually create new investment opportunities, and that's what I'm going to be going over on my workshop on March 18th. I'm doing it twice, once in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, again in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's free, it's live, but you do have to register if you'd like to do so. I have the link for you down in the description below. And when you actually show up live on March 18th, you're also going to get a free digital copy of my team's new book, How Money Changed Forever. All you have to do is actually show up live on March 18th, and that's going to be emailed to you. So I invite you to join me on March 18th if you are an investor, which brings me to what's going on with oil prices and gas prices. After the United States attacked Iran, you have to remember the Middle East is like the world's hub of oil. And the problem isn't just that, well, maybe some of these countries are going to produce less oil. The problem is also that Iran controls something called the Strait of Hormuz, which is where a lot of the world's oil transports through. And now that the United States and Iran are at war, well, Iran is not letting ships going through this strait, which means oil being transported from one part of the world to the other just got a whole lot more expensive, which is why oil prices have been rising. And because more and more conflicts continue rising in the Middle East over the last few weeks, oil prices continue to go up. And this is where the Trump administration has said that we are going to come up with ways to bring oil prices down, but we don't have a very clear plan as to what that is going to actually mean, whether that includes more military operations in the Middle East, whether that means getting more oil out of Venezuela, because remember, the United States is technically in control of Venezuela right now. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We hear that oil is going to be under control, but right now oil prices have been growing at some of the fastest rates we have seen in decades. And that's why gas prices have been going up. And the reason why this is so important is because oil prices don't just affect the gas, they impact the prices of everything. Because when you go to the store and you buy avocados, well, those avocados had to be driven from a warehouse to the store. That cost becomes more expensive. And those avocados had to be driven from the farm to the warehouse. That cost also got more expensive. Not to mention that a lot of fertilizers use oil, so that cost also got more expensive. So as oil prices go up, the cost of pretty much everything goes up, which can impact inflation. Now, I have a much deeper video about this coming in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. But the idea is that when oil prices go up, it can impact every single part of the economy. But that's not all. We also had part three, what's going on in the private credit market. What we just saw happen is that BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, is now pausing withdrawals from its private credit fund. Now, there's been a lot of news in the private credit market. If you want me to do a full deep dive on this, just let me know in the comments and I will do that video. But the idea is, over the last number of years, many companies like BlackRock, Blackstone, and a number of others started creating these funds called private credit funds. The idea being, if you just took your money and you kept it in your savings account, you'd get maybe 1% return on it. If you put it in a high yield savings account, maybe you get a 3% return. But there are these companies that want to borrow money, but are not being lent money by banks for whatever reason. Maybe these companies are doing business in a way that banks don't want to lend to. Maybe these companies have had some other issues in the past. So for whatever reason, these companies are not able to borrow money from the traditional banking method. So these companies were borrowing something called private credit. Where were they going to borrow this private credit? Places like BlackRock and Blackstone. And so BlackRock and Blackstone then opened up these funds where you could go out and lend money, and you'd be lending it to these companies who couldn't lend money from regular banks. The advantage to you is now you could get a pretty good return on your money. 7% a year in interest, 10% a year in interest, 13% a year in interest, sometimes even more, 15% a year in interest. So you can start to see how that's a pretty attractive return for investors. So there were billions of dollars going into these private credit funds. Well, here's the problem. What we saw happen is over the last few years, interest rates kept going up. And because interest rates kept going up, it started to hurt businesses. And more of those businesses started to struggle. For example, one of the big users of these private credit funds were subprime auto lending companies. Well, these subprime auto lending companies were borrowing this money at high rates and then issuing these subprime loans. I made a video about this many months ago talking about how this could be concerning, but these subprime auto companies are issuing these loans at very high rates, and delinquencies for subprime cars kept going up and up and up. Well, now, because interest rates haven't fallen drastically, those subprime car loan companies are facing more and more defaults. They're facing bankruptcies, which means they're not able to pay back this private credit. Well, now BlackRock, Blackstone, and these other companies have been issuing these private credit loans. They're not getting paid back, which means you, as the lender, the investor in BlackRock, Blackstone, don't have any money to get back either, because BlackRock and Blackstone haven't gotten paid back. And so because of these concerns that really started to pick up over the last week or so, investors started to pull their money out very quickly, almost like a bank run, except it's not really a bank, it's an investment. And now, because of the amount of people pulling their money out, BlackRock, Blackstone are getting concerned that these funds would collapse because everybody's just pulling their money out. And that's where what we saw happen earlier this week is certain funds started pausing withdrawals, saying you cannot pull your money out anymore. And then BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, just said the same thing, that they are curbing withdrawals as well. So that's what's going on there. The concern is this could be a sign that there are bigger issues in our economy, that this could be a crack that's finally forming, that maybe we're going to see some deeper pain in our economy. We'll see what ultimately happens. Again, if you want more details about this private credit market, let me know and I can make a video about that. But the reason why this is important is because all these three things happening together, the private credit, the oil prices, and now this job market, have clearly pulled many markets lower, and investors are concerned about what's going to happen next. And there's a few things that I want you to understand. Number one, do not panic sell. Know what your strategy is, period. The first thing I want to say is that recessions and market crashes create more millionaires than any other time. Why? Because of poop. P-O-O-P. Panic leads to overselling, leads to opportunity, leads to profits. Anytime we've seen a market downturn, anytime we've seen a market crash, anytime we've seen a recession, we've seen people panic. They sell out of good investments because they're freaking out about what they're seeing on the news. They don't know what they own. They were just buying these investments because they were hoping they were going to get rich. And then as soon as they go down, they realize, oh my God, investing is actually a little bit difficult. It doesn't go straight up. And now I sell for a loss. You buy high, sell low. And then the financially savvy investors get to come in and buy good investments at a discounted price, which gives you the ability to profit. So panic leads to overselling, leads to opportunity, leads to profit. Now, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. But what we do know is that over the long run, markets go up. We've seen many corrections and recessions in the past. In 2022, markets fell by 20%. It was a great buying opportunity. In 2020, markets fell by 35%. It was a great buying opportunity. In 2008, the stock market got cut in half. Real estate prices got cut in half. It was a great buying opportunity. In 2000, internet companies fell by 75%. It was a great buying opportunity. The stock market got cut in half. But you have to be a long-term investor and you have to know what it is that you're buying. And this is where you got to remember there are two different ways that you can invest your money. Number one is you can just invest into the stock market. You can be a passive investor. You can invest in something like the S&P 500. That's a group of the 500 largest companies in the stock market. You can invest in the total stock market. So you can invest in these funds, and the way that you win in this strategy is something that I call A, B, B, always be buying. But before I go any further, I got to give you that disclosure that I'm just a random guy on YouTube, okay? Investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point, so make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. But the way it works, ABB, this is proven, is you set up a system every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, and you just keep buying. You buy whether markets are up, you buy whether markets are down, you buy if markets are sideways, you buy if there's a war happening, you buy if there's not a war happening, you buy if there's a Republican in the White House, you buy if there's a Democrat in the White House. You get the idea. You buy no matter what. And when you do that, over the course of a few decades, it has been proven to build wealth, period. Now that's the passive side. I recommend everybody do some active, even if it's not a huge piece of your portfolio, because with the cost of living growing so much, more and more people just need some better returns. And active investing is more risky, more work, more research, but it gives you the opportunity for better potential returns. Active investing is now you look for where the opportunities are. Because guess what? Certain industries are going to get hit harder than others. And if you can identify where money is moving, that can give you an investment opportunity. If you can find an opportunity that you believe this industry is going to be a lot bigger in 5 years and 10 years, and that industry gets hit because the whole economy is going down, that could be a great buying opportunity. But you have to be able to know how to research your investments and identify where money is moving. That's the key. Because while a lot of people are panicking, everyone's freaking out, the wealthy come in quietly and they start buying. I mean, the reason why recessions and crashes create more millionaires than any other time is because they allow financially savvy investors to come in and buy good investments at a discounted price. But you got to be patient because no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. You got to be willing to cut through the noise because when people panic, the media loves selling the emotion and the scare about how the world is going to end. But things have generally worked out. It's happened again and again and again. And that's where being able to cut through the emotion can always help, because anytime you see a downturn, what people always say is, this time is different, Jaspreet. This time is different because of this. This time is different because of this. It's happened every time markets have gone down. Now, sure, this time might be a little bit different, but what we've seen throughout history is no matter what has happened, markets have gone up over the long run. And if your goal is to be a trader, well, that's gambling. But if your goal is to be an investor, the longer you invest, the less risky it is. Time has proven that. So be a smart investor. Again, on March 18th, I have my live investor workshop where I'm going to be presenting my firm's research as to where the economy is moving and how it creates opportunities. I invite you to join me. The link is for you down in the description. And if you got value out of this video, of course, the best thank you is a referral. So if you could, please share this video with a friend, family member, colleague, or fellow investor. That way we can continue to spread this type of financial education. Thank you. President Trump just confirmed that he wants to get rid of your income tax. Take a listen.
I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.